security and economic development in Africa.
Sexual Harassment Prohibition and Punishment Bill, 14 years imprisonment awaits culprits.
Nigerian Army seeks collaboration of traditional rulers in the fight against insecurity.
And Good Morning Nigeria today focuses on merging multiple exchange rates.
The persistent depreciation of the naira to the dollar on the parallel foreign exchange rate market has remained a source of concern to many Nigerians, with experts calling on the Central Bank of Nigeria to address the challenge of multiple exchange rate windows in order to improve the inflow of foreign investment and diaspora remittance.
Now, many others advocate a harmonization of the foreign exchange rates in the country, saying that the multiple foreign exchange rates with significant price differentials do create room for speculation, round-tripping, cronyism, and in some cases outright graft, with the attendant adverse effect on the economy.
So in the bid to achieve price stability, reduce poverty level and control the high inflation that has been plaguing the country, especially for food items among others, the World Bank advised the federal government to strengthen the nation's economy by restoring microeconomic stability through reforms, increase oil and non-oil revenues, tighten monetary policies to reduce inflation and unify the multiple tax windows by adopting a single market responsive exchange rate.
Well, recently, the president of the World Bank Group warned that Nigeria's parallel exchange rate had become harmful as it worsens future debt service payments and increases the risk of debt distress. According to him, the parallel market rates are expensive, distorting all market indicators associated usually with higher inflation, and then impeding private sector development and foreign investment, ultimately leading to lower growth.
Now, he further warned that parallel exchange rate markets adversely affect the impact of banks' projects and oftentimes leads to more foreign debt. So what measures are needed to be put in place for effective implementation of mergers of exchange rate, and what are the likely direct benefits of foreign exchange merger on an average Nigerian? These are some of the issues that Good Morning Nigeria will be examining today as we discuss merging multiple exchange rates in Nigeria. Okay, you wanted to say something?
Juma, I also wanted to draw attention to the fact that on the 29th of May, at his inauguration, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in outlining the policy thrust of his administration in his inaugural address, also drew attention to monetary policy issues that will need to be addressed, including, of course, the multiple exchange rates that have caused all kinds of distortions to which we earlier referred.
Well, I am Juma Yusuf. Welcome to Good Morning Nigeria.
And I'm Kingsley Osadolo. I join my colleague Jumai to also welcome you to another edition of the program. We are live on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority and from our headquarters studios here in Abuja. In the course of the program, we'll have newspaper review, business, and others, of course, which form part of our complementary segments. For now, we'll take the highlights of the morning news, and here is Tessie O'Mary. Good morning, Tessie.
Good morning, Kingsley. Hello, Jumai. And good morning, Nigerians. Here is the morning news. President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday called on the European Union to assist Nigeria and Africa in strengthening security and economic development to alleviate poverty in the continent. In a statement by the Director of Information, Abiodun Oladunjoye, the President spoke during a telephone conversation with the President of the European Council, Mr. Charles Michel. The European Council is the EU institution that defines the general political direction and priorities of the European Union. According to President Tinubu, Nigeria and the whole of Africa will require the help and partnership of our friends and development partners like the EU to address the excruciating poverty in the continent, while requesting the EU to look at specific areas of security challenge like the Lake Chad and coastal areas. The Nigerian leader promised to remain in contact with the European Union and the other member states. He said poverty and insecurity were priority areas for his administration, and he will do all that is required to address them. The council president used the opportunity of the telephone conversation to once again congratulate President Tinubu over his election, while pledging the commitment of the council towards a stronger cooperation and partnership with Nigeria based on mutual respect and common interests. He pointed out that Nigeria is important to the EU and the international community. Mr. Michel urged the Nigerian leader to continue to work with the EU in all relevant areas. President Bola Tinubu has called on state governors to collaborate with the federal government in tackling the menace of poverty in the country, saying the level of impoverishment is unacceptable. The president, who received members of the Nigerian Governors Forum, NGF, at the State House, advised political leaders to downplay their differences and jointly focus on alleviating the sufferings and pains of the people. President Tinubu, who stated that the nation should be seen as one big family, believes good governance will safeguard the future of democracy. The state governors, led by the NGF chairman and Governor of Kwara State, Abdul Rahman Abdulrazak, expressed strong support for the president's decision to end fuel subsidy payment in the country and other early policy initiatives of the administration. The Major Oil Marketers Association of Nigeria, MOMAN, has expressed support for the decision of the federal government to finally end the fuel subsidy regime. Members of the association were led by Governor Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State to the presidential villa on a visit to President Bola Tinubu.
On the part of the marketers, we're committed to ensuring that we ensure competitiveness, fair pricing, and also services that the populace will be very happy about. The removal of subsidy will unleash the potential of Nigeria. It's going to unleash a lot of resources, that will now be used in education, infrastructure.
And we are confident that once this 4 trillion naira per annum burden is, out of the window, it would enhance, our faculty allocations as different states.
The newly appointed Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, has taken oath of office, pledging commitment towards actualization of the current administration's plans to deliver good governance. The ceremony held in the Council's chamber.
Tinubu as president, you just have to follow his footsteps. He has never been in the gallery. The galleries, according to Roosevelt, are full of critics. He has always been in the arena, down in the arena, according to Roosevelt. At the doors, he's always a doer. And so we have to tag along. We must never afford to fail.
Senate has passed the Sexual Harassment Prohibition and Punishment Bill with 14 years imprisonment for culprits. This is coming a day to the end of the 19th Assembly. Senate has considered the report of its conference, that is committee on the bill.
For the long title, as a bill for an act to make comprehensive provisions, prohibition and punishment of sexual harassment of students by educators and other persons in and out of tertiary educational institutions.
Conference Committee report on the Sexual Harassment Bill 2023, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Now to security. In order to enhance security management in Kogi State, the involvement and support of traditional rulers have been identified as crucial. Brigadier General Isang Akpao-Motia, Commander 12th Brigade of the Nigerian Army, emphasized this during his visit to the palaces of His Royal Highness Jimba William Leke, the Aguma of Basa, and Brigadier General Abdul Ali Desu of Basangate. This visit took place in Oguma and Boloko within the Basa local government area of the state.
Lokoja is long overdue. Because if you see Lokoja is in the center of Nigeria. After that one, I would like to tell you that we Basangers are indeed grateful to the army.
And we are here to support the security in Kogi State. So we want to assure you that from time to time we will run into your palace, because we always look up to you, because the ideas, your direction will be very, very important.
And that's the news for now. Good morning, Nigeria continues with Jumwe and Kingsley after this commercial break. Do stay with us.
We shall defend the nation from terror and all form of criminality that threaten the peace and stability of our country. Security shall be top priority of our administration, because neither prosperity nor justice can prevail amid insecurity and violence.
We must all join hands to work hard so that we build a country for our grandchildren.
My hope is that we develop as a nation where every citizen is given his due right. There is transparency, honesty, and integrity.
Put the interests of this country first and foremost. Interest of Nigeria is being one nation, one people.
The need, if I mean, to put things right, things that have gone wrong before, to try and put right, for the love of country.
Your skill is key to your professional growth in the competitive broadcast media industry. Take advantage of the following programs specially packaged by NTA Television College Jos to upgrade your skill. Marketing in the era of digital broadcast. Date 13th June to 23rd June 2023, 2 weeks. Drama production workshop. Date 3rd July to 21st July 2023, 3 weeks. Intermediate online news reporting skills. Date 24th July to 11th August 2023, 3 weeks. The course fee for the 2-week course is 120,000 naira, while the fee for the 3-week course is 150,000 naira only. Accommodation inclusive. All courses will hold at NTA Television College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For further inquiries, please call 0803-079-5335 or 0806-980-9807. NTA Television College, Jos, training you to be the best you want to be. Registrar Announcer.
Today, faith and destiny join together to place the touch of human progress in our very hands. We dare not let it slip. We lift high this touch so that it might shine on every household and in every heart that calls itself Nigeria. We hold the beam aloft because it lights our path with compassion, brotherhood, and peace. May this great light never extinguish.
You're welcome back. Commodity export is expected to grow Nigeria's economy significantly in the near future through agriculture. Vivian Ezeyefe has details of these and more on Business News.
The Securities and Exchange Commission says Nigeria has various commodities that could be exported in a bid to grow the country's economy, provide jobs, as well as provide the nation with foreign exchange earnings. To achieve this, the Commission is collaborating with Standards Organization of Nigeria, SAN, and other ministries and agencies to develop standards for commodities. According to reports, the development of these standards will pave way for the export of locally produced goods and services to the international markets and in turn boost the Nigerian's economy. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, NBS, says Nigeria's total merchandise trade slightly improved in the first quarter of 2023. According to NBS statistics reports, the increase was due to a marginal increase in import and export trade, resulting in a positive trade balance. The report further added that in the first quarter of 2023, Nigeria's total trade stood at 12.1 trillion naira, of which total exports stood at 6.5 trillion naira and total imports amounted to 5.6 trillion naira. And to the details of Wednesday's tradings on the floor of the exchange. With business, Vivian Ezeyefe.
Many thanks, Vivian, for the business news package on Good Morning Nigeria. A review of some of the papers we have this morning follows shortly.
And our newspaper reviewer, Chukudi Okoli-Ubaja, is in the studio. Good morning, Chukudi.
You can say that again. I am fully here.
Yeah, you're fully on ground.
You know, people my size have a way of trying to establish themselves properly. Kingsley, good morning.
Good morning, Chukudi.
How are you?
I'm well. And you?
I'm fine.
Very
you excite me anytime I come around here. I don't know how you do it.
Well, glad to have you again on Good Morning Nigeria for the newspaper review segment. We have three newspapers. Let me begin with the New Telegraph above the name flag. The New Telegraph says fuel subsidy, democracy not easy to manage. That's attributed to President Tinubu. Says level of impoverishment in Nigeria unacceptable. Seeks governor's support in tackling poverty and insecurity. NGF will work constitutionally and harmoniously with your government. That's according to the chair of the Governors Forum. Tribunal, INEC and Tinubu seek to stop commission staff subpoenaed by Atiku to testify. Court admits final results in LP Obi's petition. Telecoms, federal government issues fresh licenses to 25 operators, raises 5.6 billion naira. Senate shifts valedictory session to Saturday. In Sudan crisis, JAMB rolls out 14 procedures for students' absorption into, of course, Nigerian universities. Iwayang reconciles Igbo groups with Ohaneze, unveils action plan. We don't believe there was fuel subsidy. That's according to ASU. Nigeria hostile to workers, intellectuals, and students. That's Professor Ogunyemi. 10th National Assembly on ease in APC as Tinubu fails. That's in inverted commas, to unveil Akpabio and Abbas. Is it his responsibility to unveil the leaders? That's executive overreach into legislative terrain. Devolve more powers to states, NBA tells federal government. And of course, you have headlines there for all the other things that are trending. Let me also, Juma, since you're waiting for me, let me also take very quickly the headlines on the front page of the Leadership newspaper. Below the nameplate of the paper, that's the Leadership, said a story there that is trending. Nigerians demand arrest and prosecution of Sirika as the immediate past Minister of Aviation. Depot prices of petrol rise by 100%. Federal government to incur 2 trillion naira liabilities as Senate passes police pension bill. And governors back Tinubu on fuel subsidy removal. 95,000 Nigerian pilgrims performed 2023 Hajj. Palm oil imports from Malaysia surge from 353%, surge 353% in 4 months. Ninth House passed 510 bills, 2,000 motions in 4 years. That's Bajabi Amila.
Let's quickly go to the Punch newspaper, and just above the masthead, National Assembly, Tinubu, APC move to appease anti-zoning members. You find details on page 2. Poor debt-ridden states give governors jumbo exit package. Find the details on page 19. Ex-SGF hands over Boko Haram detainees Magu cases to Akume. Find the details on page 14. Side piece of the picture story, 427,000 Nigerians in diaspora get NIN. Find details on page 23. Gunmen abduct 3 Kogi family members, threaten to kidnap more. Details on page 4. Students lament as Yola Disco throws Unimaid into darkness. You find the details on page 4 and 5. And the headlines in the Punch newspaper: subsidy. Tinubu orders Shatima governors to work on salary palliatives with kickers. Start work, Tinubu tells NEC as 22 governors, marketers back subsidy removal. Oyo plans salary increase. Labour gives June 19 ultimatum on 200,000 naira wage. And the picture story you see there, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Vice President Kashim Shettima, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, during a meeting with the Nigerian Governors Forum at the Presidential Villa in Abuja yesterday. That's about what we have in the papers.
Thank you, Juma. Kingsley says, of course, he's quoting a newspaper, that import of palm oil from Malaysia has surged of late. Juma, that crop shoots up from the soil where I come from, and within 4 years surrounds its base with about 8 bunches. You didn't apply any manure at all. You didn't help it in any way. It fights the shrubbery around it. We're importing it from Malaysia. And there's a tale that the seeds were taken from
Nigeria.
I don't want to turn this newspaper review into lamentations of Kingsley Jumai and Chukwudi Okolugbaja. That's not good enough. Serious journalism here, ladies and gentlemen. You give me good impetus to talk here because you guys talk responsibly. I am for responsible journalism. Human Rights Watch is putting out a rather unnerving one. It claims that the Nigerian Air Force is taking blame for an airstrike that killed some 39 persons in Nasarawa in January this year. The Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, or MAGBAN, says that airstrike occurred when herders went to reclaim about 1,250 of their cattle impounded by the Benue livestock guards. It further claims that former Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State had said...
He's still the governor.
Oh, sorry. He's still the governor, sorry. Said that NFA was not responsible for the airstrike. That's what they claimed that the governor said at a point. Well, Human Rights Watch, according to the Daily Sun, is saying the NFA has, for the first time, attribution matters here. Yeah. Responsible journalism. Is saying for the first time that it was responsible for the deadly strike. Now, we will need to stop enumerating claims or counterclaims at this point of some issues, which need to be interrogated anyhow. 39 persons, presumably Nigerians, allegedly died in that airstrike. The first thing is to establish the circumstances of the strike and actually go beyond the Human Rights Report claims that the Air Force has owned up to carrying out the strike. Attribution could have happened and all that, but for me, the best thing to do is to make sure you go to the Air Force to hear from them as well.
Balancing the story.
Do you understand? It's very important. I always hesitated as an editor to take second-hand news. But as soon as we are able to establish the involvement of the Air Force, one, how could the mistake have happened crops up? What was the process of determining a possible terrorist target, which is now being falsified, as it were? If really people died in an unintended attack, what is being done to assuage feelings arising from the loss of life? It is not easy out there. We must agree that our men on the field of campaign, the front lines, don't find it easy. Still, our noble men in uniform have rules of engagement to consider. It is a pity what has happened, however it happened. We would advise more diligence if really this was a Nigerian Air Force mistake. I thought we needed to take up this matter because it's about lives. Very important. FG plans a earn as you work pay policy. What should actually have been the policy in the first place? You know, when many things go wrong in a country, at a point, they begin to look like the truth. There's this, I don't know if you've read Dallas. Ewing, one big man, oil magnate, was telling a man he took a woman from because he was a richer man, Digger Barnes. He told him at the stage, when he said, you took this lady from me, he said, you've been telling yourself that for too long, you're beginning to believe it is the truth. So it happens that way. Earn as you work should have been the order of the day right from day one. So, who has been taking salary for work not done? You know, there are certain things you read out in our newspapers and you say, what are we talking about? Well, they're saying number of hours in office, quality of work will determine remuneration. Number of hours might not necessarily translate into productivity. So, very quickly we have there quality of work. The earlier we do that, the better. I don't think it's actually anything anybody needs to announce. It's about enforcement of what should be standard practice in an office of people who want their country to make progress. That's what I think.
Well, the papers are, are quite a little bit busy with, like you said, no work, no pay. Well, the strike has been shelved and Tinubu has ordered Shettima to work, Vice President Shettima, to work on salaries and palliatives. Well, the Labour has given June 19 ultimatum on 200,000 naira wage. Is that feasible?
No, when you say they've been ordered to work on salaries and wages, one wishes one is not between 60 and 70, so one can return to work. Because Jumai, I practically died in the newsroom.
Kingsley, you're on the white side this morning.
Yeah, well, there isn't much to talk about in terms of the headlines. These are just running copies. My only grouse, if I may say that, is with the double-decker